Hey, what's up, everybody? Championship Leadership Podcast. We got the continuation of our special series here with some of the CL24 Class 3 grads, and to kind of get their take on what CL24 is all about. So we got Richie Perez here. He came through, him and his wife, Michelle, came through on Class 2. They both came back through on Class 3. Richie got the buckle in Class 3. The buckle, if we're watching this right now, which we're going to have some brand new. We're leveling up our game when it comes to the buckles. So we got some new improved buckles coming here soon to really, because it's a big deal. And I want it to be a really cool, big presentation for people when they earn that. But Richie, appreciate you being here, man. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it. Awesome.
So yeah, why don't you just tell us a little bit about like, what is Championship Leadership CL24 to you? And you've come through a few times. Obviously, we've known each other for a few years now as well. Coached you through a few different experiences. We've had some time to spend together personally as well, and like running marathons and just hanging out on a personal side. So yeah, just maybe start off with that. Like what's CL24 to you? What are some of the experiences that you've had coming through this, not once but twice, and looking to come a third time, as you've been kind of talked into it from our brother Ian Hahn.
Definitely talked into it on the third time. I was talking to it on the first time because, we talked in that podcast that we did after Class 2 went through it, and like, how'd you get into it? I said I was kind of duped into it. I said I thought we were gonna do a walk. I remember talking about first talking about creating that 24-hour deal. I said, yeah, I'm thinking about doing this like 24-hour walk and this event. And I'm thinking, yeah, that sounds cool. I can walk for 24 hours.
Well, I was gonna do a 24-hour walk.
That what it was.
Didn't mean that's what this was gonna be.
I must not have been listening as usual. When we saw Class 1 video come out, I was like,
oh, yeah, which you were supposed to be at, right?
Maybe we're starting working out or something. We better get ready for this. But yeah, CL22. I think that last post you put out there was really good, and it is about life. It's just, it's not going to be fair, and there's moments, and I don't want to give too much away, but it's not fair. And you seem like you're going through the events, and it's tough. And I'll just maybe highlight one spot. I remember we were at Willows Beach, I think it was, or something like that. Yeah. And we were holding the log, and I was really getting this pity party because I'm like, I've got 3 other girls holding the logs, and like 2 of them aren't nearly as strong, and I'm like, I'm getting my butt kicked, and I'm holding like the bulk of this thing, and we're moving the log, and it's getting frustrating, and I'll never forget, man. Coach Tree came over to me, just kind of got a little close to me, and was like, stop, you're fucking moaning and crying, shut up. You're bringing your team down. And, for me, that was a big spot. It was a spot where it's like, realize like, it's just not fair. Like, life's not going to be fair. So yeah, pointing that out, I think through that 24 hours, you just have so many things that come your way that you just have to make these, I guess we call them micro decisions, these little decisions and these little moments to either, think one way or combat those thoughts and choose another path, right? Choose the path of positivity, strength, thinking about your team, getting out of your own head, all that good stuff. But it's unlike anything you can do, because it's more than that. There was the fatigue that you're getting. I'd say, going through the event's a must. It's just, that's all there is to it. I could sit here and we could do a bunch of podcasts, but to really bring out what that event's about and the little things that happen along the way they're priceless, really.
Yeah, it really is. I tried, had a conversation with a guy who he's helping me a little bit with following up with some folks that are interested in this. And he's like, what are some of the objections for people around this experience? And I was like, it made me really kind of try to think, and we came up with a few really of like, well, number one, I guess there could be an objection to the cost. It's not cheap, but in my mind, it's not expensive for what you get in the experiences. And also the fact that like, if there's not a price to pay, then you're going to discredit the experience as well. And so that can take away from it. And it also, a low barrier of entry from a cost or a price standpoint also allows other people in that might not necessarily belong as well. There's the thing of, this is a leadership experience, not a physical experience. It's physical, but it's all about how to become a better leader through that, because it's one of the few ways you can really reflect or mirror the pressures and stresses that you have in life is through some of the physical stuff that we do, but it's all with the intent to make you a better leader. So there's a lot of conversations there around leadership. So I think most people at first glance would say, oh, that's just a physical event. And it's much more than that. The other piece is the 24 hours. And, you know, Tony Hopkins, we had this conversation with her already, coming grad from class 3. And she was like, man, that she kind of thought that in the beginning too. And then she was like, the time goes fast. She says, you know, especially if you stay, she's like, the 24 hours goes really pretty quick when you're in it. And it's true that it really does. And then the other piece, I guess, is a little bit of the intimidation. And I just say, well, you know, it's good that it's intimidating, right? Because it makes, you know, you should be a little bit fearful. Anything that worth anything doing is going to be a little bit nerve-wracking and intimidating, but then you get into it and you get going and you're with the other team members and you realize that, you know, a lot of times we just create that for ourselves when it's really not nearly as hard as we thought it would be, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know if you can resonate with any of that I was talking
about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even coming back the second time, you know, I started thinking about, you know, the day, the whole 24 hours and going, okay, you know, you're thinking about the stuff we did before. And yeah, you kind of started even creating stories around that, even though you already know, for whatever reason. That's funny you said, because you start creating these unknowns, like, yeah, just about what it's going to be. And of course, you know, we didn't know exactly what we'd be doing, you know, the second time around. We got to change things up a little bit.
Was it different? It was different, right? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Class 2 to class 3.
Yeah. And you know, enjoyed having two crews out there. That was awesome. You know, I'll say one thing, another growing experience for me, and you know, just benefit for listeners was you know, you know, so I do Krav Maga, you know, I play football and all this stuff. And you know, you would think that I'm not afraid of competition, right? I own a business, but in reality, I noticed something in myself when we were doing these you know, pays to be a winner kind of segment. And I didn't want to do it. I remember sitting there, you know, and we were in that spot, and I was like, man, that's stupid, dude. I don't. And I started thinking, like, in the moment, right? I'm there in this 24-hour event, and I'm like, why am I thinking this way? Like, what's the problem? And then we ran a couple, you know, the competitions, and we won one, we lost one. And in that moment, I realized, like, you know what? I'm really just being afraid of competition because I want to win so bad. I am that competitive, but I'm also so afraid to lose. And it was, you know, it was just it was a small thing for me, but it was maybe a small thing for me to say right now, but it was a big deal for me inside. Where it was like, you know, as soon as I let those things go, either winning or not winning, and you know, hey, what's going to happen if we don't win? Because there's, like, you know, there's something that comes with that, and that's life, right? That's again, those life lessons. But it was really like, once I let those things go, it just became so much fun. It was just like, I'm just gonna do my best, you know. And I know that sounds so cliche and so small, but in the moment, it was just like, yeah, you know. And that's with everything in life. You know, you go out to compete for a client, or you're going out trying to get a job, or whatever it is you're doing. It's like letting all that, you know, am I going to get it? Am I not going to get it? You know, all that go and just be in the moment, right? And there's a lot of that going on during the 24 hours, is being in the moment. I think that's one of the most powerful things to take away from that event, because it is a long event. And you can get out there, you know, and in here during the event.
So, you know, 24 hours. We had 6 at class 1. We had 5 of you at class 2, and then we had 8. We're supposed to have 10. But it always seems to happen. There's 1 or 2 that ended up backing out for whatever reason, as we get a few days out from the event. So we had 8. So we got 6, 5, 11, and 8, 19 total that have so far come through CL24. And 3 people have earned the buckle. And the buckle is really meant as an incentive for people to show up and get prepared. And but also is just a way to really separate that, like, hey, what it truly takes to be a championship leader. Number one, it's absolutely powerful to finish an experience like this for 24 hours. And that is a big accomplishment, but then it's a whole nother level to do what's required to pass a PT test, to show up prepared, to show up strong throughout the event, and finish to get the buckle. And there's only been 3 of you. So I did the math. That's like less than 15% so far have earned the buckle.
Wow.
So I really do want it to be this thing that is special. And I think it was a special moment for you, especially after, you know, not getting it the first time around. Maybe talk about that. Like, what does the buckle mean to you? What was there a feeling coming out of the second one, knowing you didn't get it? And obviously you came back to partly to get the buckle and to help everybody else from class 2 that didn't get it. But but yeah, talk about that a little bit and what that means to you other than just this cool buckle.
Yeah. So not getting it the first time around. I don't know.
And you just barely missed it. You didn't miss it by much on the first time.
Yeah, I didn't miss it by much. I could easily say that, looking back on that, it was just, and I think, Coach, I think you taught this lesson, or you mentioned it. You said, we prepare just to get it, but we don't, how'd you say it? You said it in a way that really landed with me. It says,
yeah,
not just to be all right, but to not miss, right? I think is how you say it. You probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think so. Like, there's the minimum standard, right? And most people just will train to be able to hit the minimum. But then what happens when, like, you're not 100% or something, or you come in a little fatigued, or we make you a little fatigued before you hit the test. And now you've only been trained to hit the minimum, and now your best isn't good enough to hit that minimum because you're not at your best when you do it. So train to exceed the standards, be the standard.
Yeah. So coming in the first time, I ran the mile a couple times and I hit it, and I thought, I'm good. I'm cool.
Yeah.
I didn't run the mile anymore, and I didn't run the mile anymore. So last time coming in, of course, I ran the mile a few more times.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give a lot of credit to the team that we were with, though, because there were some hard chargers with us. Ian coming in, Paul Casey coming in.
Yeah, Ian is former D1 mile runner for Penn State. So
yeah, I've been calling him my rabbit. I told everybody, like, they said, "Oh, how you ran the mile?" What I said, like 7:24 or something like that. They're like, "Whoa, that's fast." And I said, "Well, I had a rabbit in front of me that I was just, man, it wasn't for him. I don't know, because there was a part when I was running back, and I'm like, Ian, hold on, I can't keep up, and I'm just chasing him down. So part of that buckle definitely goes to Ian, and then Paul, Paul Casey, man, on that ruck, he just would not stop. I think there was at least 3 times where I was like, dude, guys, I don't think we have to run the whole thing. I think we're good on time. But yeah, what does a buckle mean? I was wearing it this weekend. I wear it. Yeah, I wear it in the weekends. It makes
I love it.
I guess for me, never being in the military, never have that opportunity because of things path I chose in life when I was younger and stuff like that. And actually not being able to go to the military. I did try, but I wasn't able. So I think, doing these events and earning stuff like that, even at 45 years old, it's just, it is a testimony to preparing, putting yourself through the training, and then showing up and actually, getting under that pressure and doing it. And it's just for me, it's just I definitely wear it with honor. I wear it with some pride, and it reminds me, daily to show up as a championship leader. So yeah, I know that could sound.
I love that you wear it. That's awesome. That's
but it means a lot.
I'm happy to hear that, because actually the first guy, a good friend of mine that I was deployed with the Kuwait in the Army with, Jake Sherman, he said he wears it too, and I was like, dude, really? That's so cool to me. I just and you should be proud, because you definitely earned it. It's not given, and it is something to be proud of. So just if you needed any extra motivation, and why wouldn't you? If you're going to come to an event like this, you should want to earn that, because that's what really championship leadership's all about. Like, to earn it, you have to show up as a championship leader through not just what you do there, but how you prepare and get ready before you get there as well. What was, coming through this 2 times, what's the significance in, doing these types of events, whether it's CL24 or whether it's something else that's hard in life? Like, what's the benefit to doing that for you and inside of your life back home?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great. So for me, it's really quite simple. I mean, not only, okay, so let me back a little bit. Like, my kid, I got 2 boys, right? And it's cool that they get to see me doing this now.
Yeah.
And Cody and stuff like that. So I got a 21-year-old and a 9-year-old. So, for those listening, but, my 21-year-old, he works with us. He's part of our company, and, just watching me do those kind of things is big for him, even though he might not necessarily do them himself. I think he's, as we all know, as parents, our kids are watching, sometimes more than they're listening to us or watching us. So for the benefit of my family, but also, I do lead a company. I have a team of about 11, and I like them to know that I'm always bettering myself. So when I do go back to the workplace and we're talking about things I want them to do or things I'd like them to consider, or, just take, when they take my lead, ask them to take my lead on something. I think they trust that I'm not just a talker, I'm a walker of it.
Yeah.
They see
That's
me do
huge.
it. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
So that's outside of me.
Yeah.
So, for me inside, it's just, I think I heard Jocko Willink say it just the other day, and I've been saying this for a long time. And, he was talking about combat, and he said how life is just like combat, but combat's so condensed and so, extreme in such a short, duration of time, where life, we get more drawn out. And I've always talked about this. Life, we get drawn out, and we have these lulls, of nothing going on. Then all of a sudden, all shit hits the fan, and your life just gets turned upside down. And so, doing events like this, whether it's CL24, I've done one of the SEAL Fit events. I think it just really, really, for me, it teaches me that, I have the ability when things get hard to deal with it. And going through CL24 twice, it's just, every time I get done with it, I'm reminded, like, yeah, there's you can tap into something that's really powerful inside yourself. And when you can do it willingly, I think when it comes upon you unwillingly, you're just way more prepared.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does that make any sense at all? Just as a preparation?
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, when you go through these types of experience, when you put yourself in those environments, when, to be honest, most people aren't willing to do it because it seems too hard or it's a little too scary, and they just want to be comfortable, right? For you to actually just voluntarily put yourself in those types of situations that most people wouldn't, and then the experiences that you go through, and to come out that other side when you get hit with things back home, it's just like, you can. I know I do it all the time, from ultra endurance to SEAL Fit Kokoro and all the other experiences that I've gone through. I can just look back and be like, man, I did that. Like, this is easy, right?
Yeah.
I can handle this, or at least it's like, I got this. You're equipped, you're prepared. You can dig back into that little toolbox of those moments and those lessons that you learned, and pull them out to help you in present day.
Yeah, that's it right there. I mean, because in the event, obviously we know you don't have, we saw someone leave. We saw someone say, I'm done. But for the most part, I think most people would be like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, what am I going to do? And I think, with that story, who left, I mean, obviously had somewhere to go. It was
he did. Yeah, he was actually from Vegas.
So, I mean, I could imagine if I said I'm done, what am I going to do? Sit?
Yeah, what are you going to do? Where would you really go?
Where am I going to go? It's like, that's not an option, right? And the reason I'm pointing that out is because, like, in life, and so so it's not an option to really quit there, because you sit in the van, and so you have to, in your head, you're working through these issues, the pain, the discomfort, like you said, and you're forced to, like you just said, you just kind of hit me when you said the tools. You're forced to start developing tools to deal with those thoughts and those emotions that are going on. And so, just like you said, in life, we're going to be in a situation where we're kind of forced to deal with it. We got no choice. But thankfully, after going through an event like CL24, it's like, it's so much, like you said, so much more just a physical, right? Because now you're developing and building these tools in your little toolbox in your mind, that when you're in a situation where you got no choice but to move forward, whether it's an emotional thing, physical thing, God forbid, a death, or the crashing of a business, you can reach in that toolbox and go, I've been here. I've been in that I can't quit situation.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Man, you talked about the money. It's like, I don't even think you can put a price tag on that, really. I mean, I know you have a price point on it, but the things you come away with are they're amazing. And I know as a leader, I know the folks that I lead, the folks that are around me, I know they've seen a change. I can tell. I mean, I see a change going through it twice, and I'm excited to go through it again in February. Now we're talking about, I'm getting all
absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. And, I mean, when you, it's just the opportunity to learn, like, I just looked at Coach Tree, Floyd McClendon Jr., man, a Navy SEAL for over 15 years, in the Navy for 25. And then hopefully I bring something to the table too, but just to learn from someone like that has been through some things that most of us can't even comprehend, and to come out and to get a piece of that in an intimate setting, really, because even with only 8 people, I mean, there's companies that pay tens of thousands of dollars for someone like that to come through and train their people. And to get that experience in our environment is like so special. So I hope people realize that as well.
Yeah, and yeah, that's definitely worth highlighting. In fact, that's something I bring up to people that I when I talk to about it, and offer the event up, and let them know what my experience was. It's like, yeah, I mean, all that training. I mean, I couldn't even imagine, what money goes into training a SEAL, a Navy SEAL,
Oh,
and
millions upon millions of dollars.
yeah, and to be able to extract some of that from him over a 24-hour period. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
I don't even talk much when he talks. I just sit there and listen. And
Yeah.
one thing that we're on that is like it's just amazing the simplicity too that that they have. It's very simple. Things aren't as complicated as you think. Not ever really hanging out with a Navy SEAL and then hanging out with a Navy SEAL for now, what, 48 hours straight.
Yeah. Right.
It's they're amazingly simple, but just completely driven folks. I mean,
yeah.
It's
but
just,
they're elite at the basics or at the simple.
oh my
right?
gosh.
They're
Yeah.
better than anyone in the world when it comes to the basics, the fundamentals. So, well, let's wrap this up. I know we've been going for a little bit here. What would be like if there was something you could say, like if you had someone in mind or someone you were talking to or someone that's considering, because there are other people that have now seen me talk about the first one and the second one and the third one, and they're kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds cool, but let's see if they kind of want to see if it works, see if this lasts. Now we're going on class 4, so hopefully we're proving to some people that we got something here and that it's powerful and we're going to continue to grow it, right? So someone that's been sitting on the sidelines and thinking about it, like, what would you tell them to help them to make the decision to come in?
Well, yeah, like you said before, what are those the objections that pop up? And I'm trying to think of them right now. It's like, yeah. I think the physical part is what would get somebody. I'm not, but
yeah, we've seen all levels of people come through that, yeah, they weren't necessarily as physically prepared as probably when they get through they wish they would have been. But everyone's made it through that's made it up in their mind too. We've had one had to bow out on the first one because of an injury. Then this guy that just bowed out on class 3. I mean, he made it through on class 2, and he was just in a much different place with some things going on in his personal life that caused him to quit on the third time. But we don't want you to quit. We talk to you, right? Like, hey, who's thinking about quitting? Like, no, we want you to get through this. We're not trying to break anyone, and we're definitely not trying to make you quit. We want everyone to get through it, and just about everybody has made it through it.
So. Yeah. So I mean, what do you tell somebody? It's like I just. Obviously for me, I'm going to say do it because I've done it. But
yeah,
I think that's a good point. There's been so many different. I've seen so many different people with just so many different, ability, physicality abilities or whatever, that I would set that totally aside. And I just think what you get out of it, mentally and personally is I don't know. I don't know if I could say just one thing except you do it. I mean, if you had a feeling, if you're listening, even this podcast, you're just like, man, that really sounds interesting. Any of those fear things that pop up, put them aside and just sign up for the event and show up and do it. I think, the training for it, you don't really have to train too crazy. I think you put something out there, don't you, coach? Like a little training.
Yeah.
Jack sit-ups, some lunges, and running some miles, and you don't have to be an Olympic athlete to go out and do this thing. So, and if it's tugging at your heart, sign. That's all there is to it.
And again, we're not trying to break. There's other events out there that you can't just show up like out of shape and make it through, right? Because they're designed to make you quit. They're designed to see what you have. And there is a much higher standard that they put in. But again, that comes back to this being a leadership experience. So we want you to come out of this a better leader, and you can do that no matter what shape you're in. There's many different lessons depending on how you show up and where you're at in life. So like you said, I know, just show up, and anything that you want in life is going to be on the other side of those emotions that you have around kind of some resistance or like, I don't know. That's why I say, if you're having those feelings, it means you're in the right place and you just got to step into it.
Yeah. And I'll just to piggyback on that is like, I think we talked about it one time, you and I, it's like, we have a lot of fun too. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah.
laughing going on. There's a lot of good
Yeah.
times, a lot of good
Not a
laughs.
lot of screaming. There might be, I suppose there maybe in your mind there's more. But I don't think we really scream that much or yell that much. Maybe a little bit here and there, but not really. It's meant to
No
be,
one's
yeah,
getting
like a
graded.
environment, keep it fun. We'll get
Fun.
serious from time to time because
Yeah.
serious things going on as well. But
Oh yeah.
yeah,
It's a good time. No one's getting screamed. Well, maybe a little bit, but it's okay.
here and
It's all
there, but nothing. Almost even that is like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, let's go. But you
Yep.
look back at it and even joke with us as coaches later on about it. So
Yeah, good stuff.
well, I appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much. Really does mean a lot, the support that you and Michelle have had with CL24. One of the few in the Buckle Club, and
Can't believe it. Less than 15%.
or not giving less than 15%, bro. So he's gonna get the new upgraded buckle here when it's here, and it's special. So appreciate
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Coach, I appreciate everything you've done for us over the years. It means a lot.